I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, it's an SL, Mercedes SL, but it's not. This is the Mercedes SLS, the Roadster version of the famous Gullwing coupe they brought out about 18 months ago. Still has the same 572 horsepower. It's a premium of about £8,000 over the coupe, which actually doesn't look too bad value to me. But the Gullwing doors have gone. It's a bit of a shame really, because they were such a statement to this car. This car they rate at 1660 kilos, but they use the DIN scale, so that includes the driver and luggage, so you can easily take 100 kilos off that. And then a bit of fuel, if you'd use the Italian way of weighing cars, which they put them in an oven for about a week and see just how dry they can get it, so no fuel, no liquids, no oil, no nothing, you're probably about 1500 kilos, 1480, 1500 kilos for this car. And that's light actually, especially when you've got 572 horsepower to play with. The roof is really clever. It's just 11 seconds to fold it down. That's sort of the advantage of having a fabric roof, as well as being lighter. It tucks away. There's no covers to go over it. It's a bit like a Boxster. It just, the top lays down, and that's the finish, flush finish. Very good. And you can open it at up to 30 miles an hour or something, so no getting held up at traffic lights and oh no, the roof's not down. Inside, it's identical really to what we've seen before. One of the disappointments for me is those dials. They don't look as classy as a sort of £180,000 Roadster should, but down here is where all the action is. On this control here is the gearbox. We go from Comfort, Sport, Sports Plus and Manual. Stop start on there. Two-stage traction control. First stage just lets you have a little bit of fun, or it's all off. All comes back on again as soon as you touch the brakes. And then new on this SLS, and they're going on the coupe as well, is electric dampers. So again, there's Comfort, Sport and a Sports Plus setting, just getting firmer with each one. And the AMG button just tightens up throttle response, etc. But it also introduces a mad thing on the dash, which is a bit like the GTR. You suddenly have this powered gauge, and you can do lap times. You can download all the information on it. Bit mad really, but AMG always had a wild streak to them. There's the oil, there's a huge gap again, and then you get to the radiator, and then blow moves all this as well. It is just incredible under the bonnet. They talk about front mid-engine. Well, this is one of the best examples you'll ever see. It's just like the SLS, it's keyless go, hit the button. That's a nice sound for the morning. Don't need a coffee with a noise like that in your garage. There's no valves in this exhaust. It's always like this. There's no playing around and setting a sports button and suddenly it gets even louder. Like this all the time. The great advantage though is having a 6.2 litre engine. It has always got grunt. There's so much torque available with this car. They all talk about, oh, everyday supercars. Well, I think this is about as near as you get to an everyday supercar. Sometimes I wish it wasn't quite so big. It goes about 100 quid worth of carbon. Something that's new on this SLS Roadster is these electronic dampers, and they're meant to help ride. They do a bit. I mean, it's still quite a firm ride, this car, but it just cushions those initial bumps more than the standard car used to do. Two settings again. They call it Sport and Sports Plus. If I put it up, second one, it doesn't go as rock hard as you might imagine. So I think it's an option worth having. It might be quite good in tunnels. Now some of the dislikes. The gearbox. It still doesn't do what you tell it to sometimes. You think, did I press the option? I tried to change gear and it doesn't respond. You can't quite work out what's happening. I don't like the paddles on the wheel. They feel cheap. This is a £76,000 car. It should have proper paddles. thing I don't understand about this gearbox, it works so well in the Ferrari. It shares it with a 458 and it shares it with the California. And I think that car sort of exposes this car a little, the California. The California list price is 146,000. The list price of this car, as I mentioned before, £176,000. This is £30,000 more than the Ferrari. It doesn't sound particularly good value to me. And with all the extras on this car, I'm sure it's north of £200,000 car. And that's a huge amount of money for what most people will see as Mercedes SL. They won't quite get, I think, when they see it on the road, that this is the SLS. They're just, oh, it's Mercedes SL. I sort of say that, and I'll get behind the wheel again. And you can't help but love that engine. Very enjoyable car, whatever you say about the SLS. Yes, it's too expensive. Boy, it's fun though.